Last time on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror Never-Ending Nightmares. Have you ever had a situation where you were watching something and then you were just kind of like, I have no idea what's going on here? Yeah, well, this movie's kind of like that. Okay, maybe exactly like that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror Never-Ending Nightmares. Yes, the show where the nightmares end not. No, not. Anyways, oh my goodness, it is very late. It is, how do you say this? The 30th episode. It is October 30. It is All Hallows Eve's Eve. That's right, that means there's only one episode left after tonight, and then we'll be through, out of the darkness and into the light, this elevation of a soul, yes. Oh, man. So far, counting the one episode that had Longinus and The Messenger as two movies, I have reviewed 28 movies. It has been a long haul indeed. And tonight is no different. But tonight, instead of talking about some movies, I thought I would talk about some horror on television. Yes, on television. I am going to talk about some of the ones that I'm watching right now, and some of the classic ones that I think you all probably already heard of. But if you haven't, things that you might want to check out, whether they be on Netflix or Hulu or whatever service you get. Sometimes they might have stuff showing on YouTube. So let's get right into it. So, talking about contemporary horror shows, I know that there are things, Supernatural, Grimm, things like that. But honestly, I'm only watching a few that really got my interest, things like, you probably could shoehorn Dexter in there even though it's more of a drama, but come on, serial killers, that's kind of horrific. I know you've got the Penny Dreadful and True Blood, but I never really got into True Blood. I've been interested in Penny Dreadful, but then again I thought maybe it's a little too hipster. At least it sounds that way. I don't know, I might have to take a look. I mean, definitely not Vampire Diaries or the originals or anything like that. Unless you guys have seen it and you guys are saying that it's pretty good. But let's get into what I'm talking about. Of course, the number one show that I watched horror related is The Walking Dead. I know it has its flaws. I know that its plot can meander slower than the walkers themselves, but yet it's still a show that I find very fascinating, very wonderful to watch, and I always want to know what's going to happen. And ultimately, spoiler alert, people, so if you haven't seen anything, I'm going to be spoiling some things, so tune away now. Alright? Okay, so now that those guys are gone, the whole thing was, it used to be, we're separated in the zombie apocalypse, we find each other, we find a safe place, that safe place gets fucked over, we get separated, and we find ourselves, wash, rinse, repeat. Well, I thought maybe Terminus was going to be another one of those things, and we're going to say, okay, what's the deal with Terminus? How long are they going to be in Terminus? Well, the new season, boom, shoves that all the way out. Everyone's together, but they're not safe, and they're not in a location, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, because I want it to be that journey to Washington. I know that they got the cannibal things going, and the priest, and where's Beth? Who took her? But I really want, that stuff to be resolved rather quickly so that we can head on to Washington, because I'm curious to see if this is the development of an endgame for this series, or is it just going to be one of those that just fizzles out and nothing happens. I don't know, but I mean, I'm invested. There's characters that I want to see, whether they live or die. And honestly, zombies, I like zombies. I'm a big zombie fan. If you guys haven't noticed, I love zombies, so I like The Walking Dead. Talk about other horror shows, well, there's Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow, I kind of like it because it's sort of campy, sort of, instead of deadpan serious like The Walking Dead, this one, it's serious, but it still has its fun and light moments, and honestly, it's a fun show. I know some people will probably say, well, it was kind of like Grimm. I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe I could give Grimm a second chance, but I don't know. I really dig Sleepy Hollow. I like the fact that you got Ichabod, who's the sort of displaced guy in time, and I think that offers, I don't know, some freshness, which is odd because he's really not fresh because he's like over 100 years old, but or 200 years old, I guess I would say. But you know, I do like it. Another one is American Horror Show. Honestly, or American Horror Story, I guess is a show. American Horror Story. I love the first two seasons. The Murder House and the Asylum. I haven't seen Coven yet because I don't have FX and I wait for Netflix. So when Coven shows up, I'm going to be watching that. And then of course Freak Show looks interesting. But I love that show. I love the fact that they use the same actors, or a lot of the same actors and actresses. Kind of creates continuity where there isn't continuity. And it's really dark and twisted series, which is pretty good. It's like Sleepy Hollow, except darker and more twisted, but still has that sense of humor, which I like. You know, sometimes you can't be just super serious. Another one which I guess you can't really say is really horror, but it is kind of supernatural unless they science fiction it up, and that's Resurrection. The first season really got me, like it hooked me. The second season, it started, the story is dragging a little bit, but I don't know if they got a lot of stuff that they're probably setting up, and it's still interesting. So I'm really digging that. So for any of you guys who might want to look for something to watch, I would recommend those guys. Especially if you want something a little bit supernatural, a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit horror. Those guys running right now on television. As for things from the past, honestly, you know, you've got the trifecta of Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, and Tales from the Dark Side. Of course, Tales from the Crypt is another great show. That's really more campy. Honestly, you want more like 80s style horror, even though it's sort of a 90s twist. Tales from the Crypt, because it's got that kind of camp, that cheesiness to it, which I really enjoy. The Tales from the Dark Side a little bit more mature. There's also this show called Amazing Stories, which didn't always have like horror elements, but it always seemed like whenever I watch it, you get the weird ones that kind of hit that. So there's the series Friday the 13th, the series, which is a great series that I think is really underappreciated. The show was about people who inherited a antique shop, and the antique shop houses cursed items, and their job is to go out and find more cursed items and bring them back to the antique shop to keep them from causing more mayhem. So it has really nothing to do with Friday the 13th, the actual like horror movies, just the name. But really, it's really interesting and spooky, and almost like an anthology, because each item has like their own story in it. In a way, but they, you know, the same characters and whatever. There was also one that was the Dracula that I watched as a kid. It was a late night show about Dracula, and yeah, I think that one was really not well known. Also talking about some horror or supernatural themed type of shows is a show that was canceled before its time, and it is a show that I really dug and was hoping that it would at least get some more attention and continue on, and that was Happy Town. That show was screwed up. It was I guess a while ago there was these disappearance of these people, and they figured there was a a serial killer called the Magic Man was responsible. And for a while, it looked like Magic Man was gone, but all of a sudden, things start happening, and the Magic Man may be making a reappearance. And it's such a multi-layered, almost Twin Peaks-esque. I mean, not as insane as Twin Peaks, but maybe it was building up to that. I mean, the different characters and the things going left and right, and the plot twist. The plot twist at the end really like hit me. But it was the end of the first season. It wasn't the end of the series, and it left so many unanswered questions. And Sam Neill was in it, and he did. Sam Neill's a great guy. And honestly, it's a shame that didn't get picked up, and I'm just hoping maybe somewhere, somehow, someone might go back and try to reignite it, which is probably not going to happen. So, but yeah, honestly, it's kind of sad because there's really not that many. I guess what I would consider true horror-based shows. I mean, a revival of Tales from the Crypt, or a revival of the Twilight Zone, or Tales from the Dark Side would be a very welcome addition, I think, for TV viewing. But this day and age, reality TV and sort of the nouveau sitcoms, I just don't see there being much of a place. I mean, I'm happy that we got what we have. Walking Dead, phenomenal. I mean, I would think that would show that horror can work. I mean, but and an American Horror Story, that also would think that it would show that these kind of things can work. But I digress. Anyways, so that's gonna be it for tonight, because honestly, I think I'm running quite a bit long on the video. I only have a 15-minute limit here, so who knows? You might be seeing this and it'll be edited like heavily. I don't know, but yeah, I spent a good time talking about a lot of shows. Maybe some stuff you've heard of, maybe some stuff that you haven't, maybe some stuff that you might think you should get a look at. But till then, I will see you guys tomorrow for the finale, the end. And always stay scary and get some candy, have some fun. Happy Halloween. Yeah.